got to take big chances in order for the potential for a big positive outcome.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum. Come get some.
Hello, welcome back to A Boring Revolution, your number one news source for everything in regards to the Boring Company. I've been hearing some interesting statements recently by people saying that the Boring Company is dead, which is absolutely bizarre, but then, hey, these people will make up anything to try and push that FUD. And I just wanted to talk to you today about what's going on in Bastrop, Texas, which is the site of the Boring Company's second R&D site. Obviously, they had a site at Adelanto, I think it was, in California, not far from the main road that goes into Nevada. So this is an important site for the Boring Company because this is where all the technology is going to be developed for what will eventually become Prufrock-3 and maybe a larger TBM, possibly to be known as Line Storm, although it is difficult to say what will happen in the next 2 years, but there's certainly a lot of work going into refining the launch and retrieval of TBMs called Prufrock and the technology that goes into continuous mining. So let's have a chat about what's going on with this site, because I have not discussed this for quite a while. I think it's been almost 10 months since I talked about this. So, you know, what is going on? Because it's interesting. So, as you remember, a long while ago, the Boring Company acquired this site here. And a lot of people were wondering, hey, you know, what's going on here? And the reason is the regulatory environment in Texas is perfect for the Boring Company, and on top of that, this particular area that's kind of close to Austin has very good geological conditions, good strata for tunneling, particularly the layers of chalk that sit below places like Austin and nearby suburbs, communities, that sort of thing. So I've seen this develop this site over time. People have come, you know, to temporarily live here. There are a few little mistakes made developing the site, but overall everything's been done mostly in accordance with the regulatory framework there. They have then, since this picture's almost a year old, I'm guessing, maybe slightly more, but they have then continued to progress, and they have progressed into this area here. Now, you're possibly wondering, how have they managed to do that? Well, basically Elon Musk, the Boring Company, I think possibly Neuralink and possibly Tesla as well, has been acquiring land in this particular area. And it looks like this area, which looks quite idyllic, kind of rural kind of area, it is being transformed into more of kind of a tech hub, kind of manufacturing area, warehouse storage, that kind of thing. Obviously, that's going to upset some people. You know, I fully appreciate that. But, you know, there's plenty of land in Texas, and this is an ideal location with its close proximity to Austin. So let's get into the real deal. So you may very well have seen this particular drawing here on the left hand side. Yeah. So this is showing you where the Boring Company and SpaceX have purchased some land, and the Boring Company had already purchased this plot of land down here. So they've then gone about purchasing lots more land. The reason is they want to develop this area, and obviously this is going to become, or it actually is, and it's becoming an even more important R&D hub for the Boring Company and possibly SpaceX in the future, and Neuralink. They have then began because they have permits to dig multiple tunnels underneath this particular road and across the site in general, potentially dozens of these tunnels, and progress has been exceptionally good, really good. Once these TBMs get going, they are proving to be very fast. The issue that I'm witnessing is that setting up the TBM is a long, laborious process. Retrieving it is not too bad, but actually setting it up, commissioning it, getting the process started is quite laborious. But I'm presuming they're working on that in the background. But it's not a huge issue if that stays the same anyway. What's most important is the actual tunnel boring rate that you can achieve per TBM per day. So all this land has been acquired. If you want to have a look at this on an actual map, you can see, again, it's a very rural area, not much really going on here. We have Buckner cow horses, which as I presume is just some kind of ranch there, and Hope Valley Tree Farm. So it's not really that, that really much of an industrial centre. It will become that at some point. You can see the Colorado River up here. The Texas Gigafactory is about, I believe, 20 miles west of this location. So all this land here has been acquired. I'm presuming that this land here and this land here is owned by other people, and they possibly don't want to sell, or they've not received the right offer yet. Like they say, every person has a price. And in the meantime, there's plenty of land to go out there. So what has happened? So, surprise to everyone, SpaceX has really pushed the satellite business quite well. So Starlink is working out really well, and they obviously need warehouse space, so they've built this facility over here, as you can see by all these warehouse doors. This is a kind of a storage and distribution center for SpaceX. Potentially, maybe they might manufacture some satellites in this particular building, but it looks to be, to me, based on what I've heard, to be more of a warehouse facility. But who knows, that could change in the future, and there's potentially land there for other manufacturing applications. This is the Boring Company site over here, by the way. This is a very big building, really big. Certainly for European standards. I'm not sure about American standards, but it's a pretty decent size. As you can see, they continue to clad the remainder of the building and finish the roofing area with the various waterproof membranes that they're going to be applying, and insulation as well. Looks quite good. So what's actually going on here with the Boring Company? So the Boring Company has got a tunnel that runs under here. It's about 600 feet long, maybe slightly longer. They also have this facility here, which I don't believe is a warehouse, and I'll explain why later on. But they have begun testing some of the tunnels to see if they are suitable for a vacuum. Now, to be absolutely clear, this is very, very basic R&D to understand if these tunnels, the way they build them, which is the standard way that tunnels have been built for the last sort of 50, 60 years, is suitable for holding a vacuum. And it appears to be the case. Now, there might be some minor changes to the process and the kind of standards that they use for constructing tunnels, but it looks like these tests were very successful, and they have managed to create what would be considered maybe a partial vacuum or a low pressure environment, and the tunnels appear to be holding that pressure very stably. So that is the reason. They are not going to be running purpose-built Hyperloop trains through these tunnels. They're not going to be building Hyperloop kind of pods in this facility in the sort of short to medium term. That is not what they're doing. They're just conducting some initial research to show that the existing tunnels that they're building can be used in the future for Hyperloop system. In other words, if they build a system that is straight enough and long enough, then at some point in the future they could potentially retrofit that system for the Hyperloop. And I think that is the kind of business model that they're going for. But they are not going to be constructing Hyperloops in the next sort of 5 to 7 years. It's just not going to happen. And the easiest way for them to make money is to copy the LVC, the Las Vegas Convention Center loop system, and just roll that out in various places. So what else is going on this site? As you can see, there's this pre-stressed tent-like structure here. That is where they are kind of manufacturing, fabricating and refurbishing the existing stock of TBMs that the Boring Company already operates. They are also fabricating these conveyor belt cassette systems, which is basically a set of conveyors that they can run through the tunnels for extracting materials. They still use the rubber wheel trucks for supplying segments to the front of the TBM, and that seems like the best system in terms of speed for now, because ultimately you need to remove a lot of spoil continuously if you are doing continuous mining, and the quickest way to do that is with a conveyor belt system. It doesn't matter how long the train is, it's never going to be able to compete with a conveyor belt system, and also a conveyor belt system is inevitably going to cost less. The only issue with this kind of system is it limits the overall length of a tunnel to around 2.7 to 3 miles, something like that. So you're going to have a new TBM every sort of 3 miles approximately, maybe less than that, maybe more like 2.5 miles, which kind of fits into my narrative of how things would have gone anyway. So as you can see, this is the other end with the kind of vacuum seal doors here. They have then begun in the last sort of 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month, prepping this machine here for a launch. Now this machine is going to pop up over here somewhere. It looks like it's going to be kind of I'd imagine that this tunnel is for vehicles going in, and then there'll be another tunnel for vehicles, coming off this site, and you'll be able to connect both these sites, and there's no impact on the road over here. So that's quite a useful addition for SpaceX and the Boring companies, that people can go between the sites. It also gives an opportunity to test the technology too. So all in all, this is going very, very well. As you can see from the original pictures that I showed you at the start of this presentation, a lot of stuff is going on with regards to this site. It's a busy place. They perfected the processes, and the prospect of continuous mining appearing on a future job is looking very, very rosy. I think for this year, actually, for this year. You also have this crawler crane that seems to be almost permanently based here, which can't be cheap, but they obviously need it for various things. Okay, so if you wonder what these are, these look like, well, it could be either mortar silos or possibly used concrete silos. So it contains all the materials you need to make concrete, but in a dry form, or mortar, which is essentially sand and cement, mixed in the correct ratio, so that it might also be used for grouting the tunnel. I've explained that in a previous video, but essentially what you're doing is to stabilize the ground. You fill the annula, which is the space between the concrete tunnel segments and the ground. There's always a gap. It can range from 5 millimeters all the way up to 40 millimeters in really bad conditions, and then you fill that with like a liquid kind of grout, and that kind of ensures that there's no kind of slippage, and that subsidence on the surface is really minimalized, although sometimes it doesn't actually get everywhere you need it to go, and you can get some subsidence, but it certainly reduces it to a significant extent. Okay, so yeah, this is just kind of an overview of what we've just been looking at. As you can see, there's lots of concrete segments. There might be a good reason why these are over here and there's some over here. These might be the ones they intend to use. These might be rejects, or these might be ones that they intend to use on a future job, or who knows. But they have like a stockpile of them. Maybe they're using different methods to build them, or maybe these are specials. Who knows? These look a bit like a mess hall where people can congregate, meetings and things like that. The key thing before I finish this presentation is to tell you about this particular building here. Now, I've always speculated that there would be, at some point, some kind of gigafactory for TBMs. Now, this is not quite it, but it's certainly a nano factory, in that they can potentially manufacture 2 TBMs at the same time. Given that they can refurbish and repair existing TBMs, they don't need to be manufacturing that many TBMs per year at this very moment in time. But with the amount of land that they've got, potentially there might be options for adding a second building here at some point. But certainly for the short to medium term, this building is perfect for the job.
Will's Mac Mini.
Okay, thanks for that. Okay, so as you can see, this opening here is perfect for TBMs to come in and out of this space. So there's certainly room for TBMs to be manufactured inside, and they can be moved out of this area once they have been fabricated, and it's enclosed. It means they can work all year round. And this little R&D site here has all the facilities you need to start iterating on new designs of Prufrock. So we're on to Prufrock-3 now. Potentially at the latter end of this year we might see Prufrock-4, and it's at that point that I anticipate they will move to a continuous mining system, which will then enable them to exceed 100 meters per day with their TBM technology. Hope you learned something from this video. Hopefully we can come back and kind of look at this topic again, maybe in the summertime, and hopefully some more pictures have been uploaded on Reddit, and we can have a look and see kind of what's been going on with this particular site. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you have a great day, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. And remember guys, don't be boring. Take care. Thanks to all my Patreons, and please like and subscribe if you've not already done so.
You've got to take big chances in order for the potential for a big positive outcome.
I've got news for you. You're a miner.